This is Mae Renfroe here, and welcome to this video and to my channel. I'm so glad you're here, and yeah, it's been maybe a little while again since I've done a video like this. The very last one I did for my channel was a kind of a over view of our trip that we just made from northern Alberta, Canada, down here to our home in northeast corner of Texas. So yeah, I did a little recap overview, shared some pictures and stuff on there. So you might be interested in that if you haven't seen it yet. But that was my last one. And then on the trip, I had did a little message talking about a relationship with God and the importance of a relationship with God. And yeah. Okay. So here I am for this one. I'm going to be talking about um, comparing ourselves with others, and maybe a good title might be "Comparison Kills." And so, just about that and how it can happen, what it looks like to compare ourselves with other Christians or uh, with other fellow moms that love the Lord, and just in what can happen when we do that, and then when our children might do that as well, comparing, seeing other families that are supposed to be Christians and and do love the Lord and are good families, and then comparing and saying, well, they do that, why can't we, or whatever. So that's what I'm going to talk about. So alrighty, I'll just uh, get into it. I don't necessarily have some scripture to read to kind of get us started, but I do have some verses that I have in mind. Yeah, I just want to talk about comparing or not comparing ourselves with others, but we are not to compare ourselves to follow others at all, but we're following God, as dear children. Each one of us needs to be following God and getting in the word to see what his word says about things and where his heart is, and not looking to others and what they're doing and like that, because what might be okay for them is not okay for us, or God might be working on them in an area, right? We don't know. So that's what I talk about, because I just recently got to visit with a nice Christian lady, and someone that I really respect and stuff, and we're talking about some things that God's been leading her through and convicting her on in the last a few years, and so in her journey, and I'm like, wow, you would, like, I wouldn't have known, right, that things that we can look at and think, oh well, what they're doing that for, if that's okay with for them, or if our kids are to see, thinking it, you just don't know what God's working on in their life, right? You just don't know. And so all we can do is follow God the way we know the best we can, then raise our children the way we feel that God is imparting us to raise our children. All right, the things that we allow or we don't allow, we need to go by God and not others, because God might be working in their life, and he might actually even use you to help them. I mean, to walk, convicting, if he's can work convicting them, and then you can be a good example. So we can be good examples to others, and we can look to others. I think, for example, we should be able, if we're all following God to some extent, but not really comparing and saying, because we don't know, yeah, what God is doing in their life, and bringing them through something and convicting them on something, or slowly working with them on something where we might want to work on someone, hammer something, or say something, but he changed something very quickly, and yet that didn't happen in our life that way, right? We may have not been come through something very, very quickly either. God probably worked on us for some time, probably laying it on our heart and gently nudging us ever closer to him. So we can't expect to really hammer something on someone else either. And um, it takes time, and we can pray, when if we see things that maybe doesn't look, yeah, we can be praying that God is working in their life, and that they would, the more that we love God, he does do that work. And when we truly love God, we want to honor him and please him in all areas of our life. And sometimes that may take a while, because if we've been used to doing something as a child growing up, or in things, it can take a while to realize that these things just aren't helping us, and that we need to sort it out. I mean, for me, there was a couple of things that God worked on me, but it did take a while. It wasn't bang overnight. One of them was reading fictional books, and another one was just regular music that you hear on the radio station. And I know that one, the country music, and my mom was talking to me, and was saying that's not good. And I'm one time when she broached it with me, and it's like she told her story of when she became a Christian and she was convicted on it. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm not a Christian. But I was 14. I wanted to be. I did, but then I go and snap that off. And so that was really unfortunate. And it realized later, once I started having little children and my children are listening to that and the birds are really singing, I'm like, this is not glorifying God. This is ridiculous. This listening to music, the only thing I enjoyed about it was the beat and everything. And so I got started listening to the Christian music more, and a Christian radio station that comes on that I enjoyed the beat and the stuff with that too. And so then, and of course, the words are glorifying, honoring God, and I come to really like that, really appreciate that. And then it was just like cold turkey and all the rest. No way, I'm not allowing it for myself, for my kids. If I can control it for my husband, no for him, and eventually he sees that for himself, that he doesn't want to listen to that music, he doesn't care for that, and so we all, it takes time that we really want. The more we want to honor God, the more we should really care about these things. And I think God will lay that on our heart. We will see that for ourselves. The more we fall in love with God, the more we're going to fall out of love with the things of the world. These things just won't, will be like, ugh, will be very distasteful to us, will be like trash for what it is, because it is anything that's not honoring God. And that the country music and the stuff you hear on the regular radio stations anymore is so getting so bad. Maybe back way back it wasn't, but it is now. And so that's the truth of the matter. And then yeah, and a lot of, well, of course, your movies and stuff on TV too. So yeah, with fictional books, I enjoyed a lot of stories that wasn't bad. It was Christian fiction, and it was a lot of, oh, it's called the Christian Amish fiction. There's a lot of stories that authors were writing that was going really popular the last several years. I think it's still going popular. A lot of people like to write on that, the Amish stories. I'm not really sure why, but people like to write on it. Apparently, people like to read that. And so, yeah, Christian fiction. But at the end of the day, at the end of my reading time, what was I left with that really edified and uplifted me? Nothing. What was I left in that time? And it was consuming my time and really had a strong pull on me. It was like, what would I, it was so interesting to read, and the way they lay it out, right? Of course, they write their books to entice you to keep reading more and more and more, and you want to know what happens. And so what are you going to go to for something to read? You're going to go for that instead of, say, the devotional, or say for other true stories, probably going to go for that other more exciting one, right? And or over the Bible, going to go for. And that's what was happening. I realized that. And so that was several years ago now, I turned that my reading into, I was finding true stories of people that walk through journeys and walk through things, and missionary stories. And then, like, this is interesting. I like that. And this is helping me. And I really, would be the word, catapulted in my faith, my spiritual journey with God really strengthened me. So if you feel like you're waning in your relationship with God, or you just feel stagnant, you're not growing, and you're the same place in your spiritual journey, your walk with Jesus as you were 10 years ago, or so many years ago, start seeing, what are you feeding on? What is you feeding on? What are you gravitating towards? What means a lot to you? Check it out. Do some soul searching. See what you're going towards. And then if it is not glorifying God, it's not bringing you closer in your walk, it's not strengthening you, it's not something that you're wanting your children to read too, then check it out. Then, start sorting it out, start cleaning it out, and you'll see it's not a thing like, like rules or thou shall not. If you don't like that, it's not about that. It's about wanting to honor and please God and grow in a relationship. And you can see, as I'm explaining this, that go through those things that you've been reading or listening to, and just see how it lines up with the Word of God, and see, what is consuming your time. What would you rather go for? And then sort that out. And so, yeah, that was my journey with the fictional books and that other music. And yeah, my faith has really grown I maybe not where I should be. We're a work in progress until the day Jesus comes, but I'm a long way that I'm long way from where I was that um and I just want to keep growing in my faith and putting stuff up here that is good that I can share with someone else, like hiding Bible verses, in your memory and your heart and your soul, so you can share that. If you're reading all these books that aren't bad, but is there really something in there that you can share with someone? Is there really something in there that you can they're going through a hard time in their life that you can share? No, it's just books to entertain. It was just nothing but entertainment. It was just like not bad entertainment. That was it. No, I want more than not bad entertainment. I want more than just an okay book, and okay stuff up here. I want the good, the best stuff up here to be able to share with others, and that's what I want for my children. Of course, they want that. You want that too, right? You want the best for your children. You want them to feed on the things that's going to draw them closer to God, things they can hang on to when the times get tough, things they can get hold on to when they're tempted to do things they shouldn't hold on to, to be able to share with others. You want the stuff pouring into them they can pour out to their friends and to the ones they're around, right? And so, yeah, it's important. It's not just that it's not bad, it needs to be God glorifying, it needs to be pure, wholesome, good, truthful. I don't know what else to say. It can't just be not bad. That's not going to cut it, right? It's just not going to. So, yeah, back to where I was talking about we can't compare ourselves with others and what someone else might be doing or not doing in their life because we don't know what God is working on in them. We've got to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, work it out with God what we feel is right and glorifying. And if it is a burden to you, then yeah, hang on, like stop. Like, no, it shouldn't be then if you really wanting this stuff, but oh, I can't because I'm back. We we should want God so much that we don't want that stuff, that it's not appealing to us, that that's not what we want, but we want what God wants. And then that our children is going to have to come to that point too, because we can have our rules and our guidelines in our home, what we allow and we don't allow. We certainly do that, but then they got to want it on their own. At some point, they got to want, they got to be able to say, God, this is what I want. I will only want to read what's good and edifying and glorifying. I only want to watch what is good and edifying and glorifying and can be, you know, to get the stuff up here that I need to be able to help someone else. And so we want our children to want that, but put in some rules and guidelines. Set down some things that you say are not going to come in your house. God has put you over that. You are to say what comes across your threshold and what doesn't come across your threshold. You are in that place. He's put us as parents, um, yeah, to raise our children the way we should go. We have to raise their children answer to us. We don't answer to them, and then so you've got to guard not only the door of your home, because all this stuff comes in through the internet, through the devices that you allow them to have, the devices that you may be allowed to into their bedrooms, the TV screens that you've allowed into their bedrooms and places and spaces. If you've allowed that, okay, you got to be careful what you allow on there, because you're the one that has allowed it to come in. And so a lot hangs on us. And so maybe I'm getting off where I was, but I guess God gave it to me to share, because I didn't know I was going to say all that. I did not know. I came on here with this, like, wanting to share about don't compare yourself with other Christians, because you know what God's doing. And then suddenly God's like giving this all to me. So praise God. It's for someone. I don't know who it's for, but it's for someone. And yeah, it's just so important that we've got a huge role, moms and dads. We've got a huge role to guard our children's hearts and minds diligently until they will carry that on to guard their own hearts and minds. You might say, well, they're going to have to want to do that. They're going to have to want to please God and to guard their hearts and minds when they get up the age. But in the meantime, we have got to do it for them, and their life is worth too much not to. Their souls at stake. Satan wants is going after our children. he is going after them like crazy. He knows his time is counting down. This ain't no joke. He ain't no playing around. Satan does not have his head in the sand, so we better not have our heads in the sand. We know that Satan doesn't. He is alerting on. He knows what's going on. I mean, he's aware and he's seeking after the hearts and souls of our children. Everything that God is wanting for himself, Satan is trying to steal, that to take that. He come to steal, kill, and destroy. God came to give us life and life abundant. So grasp after that life, seek after that life, desire that life, want it for your children. And there's things that we're going to have to weed out. We're going to have to guard our minds. It's said to guard our hearts with all diligence. So we've got a responsibility for ourselves and for our children. So important. Oh, I can't stress that enough. Again, I didn't mean to say all this. It just came. I love that. Every time that I usually go to do a video, I come with nervousness, like, oh no, what am I going to even say beyond this little glimpse? And God gives it to me. So all the glory to him, not me. God. And to get back though to the little piece that I thought to say was that, especially if we're like, for instance, I'm also one, I wear skirts all the time, skirts, and I would wear dresses more, but nursing a baby, that's a little awkward right now. Just I do t-shirts and skirts, and um because that's what I love to wear. That's what I love that look, on women's skirts and dresses, and it's beautiful. And I want that for my girls. And so I'm getting them into wearing it more. I have allowed pants and stuff too. So because I'm not just dead setting against it, but um, I like the look of girls and women in skirts and dresses, and I just it's so womanly and modest if it's the right length, and all that. And so I'm wanting my girls to do that, but it is hard when there's just so many not doing it, and they maybe see other Christian families not, and then they can say, well, they're not, so then why do we need to? Well, we don't know what God's doing in their lives, right? We don't know what God's working in their life, and maybe God's bringing them to that too at some point. So I'm saying, girls, this is what we do in our home. You can't look over there. If that's okay for them, then it's okay for them. It's between them and God. It's between you and God. So it's not, I'm not pointing no fingers, but in for that, like I just feel like for me in my house, and so you do for you in your house, and you do for you what God is pulling you and directing you and guiding you to do. And so yeah, so I'm saying, so then my girls, they could say, oh well, they're not. If it's okay for them, then why do you want us wearing skirts and dresses? Well, it's what like I explained, why, and it's what I'm wanting them to do more. And so I'm getting them more used to it, and we do it a few days a week at least for now. And I said, you know what, you can be setting an example for other girls. Maybe there's other moms that's wanting their girls to want to do that, and you'll be an example. You'll be like, when we start seeing more girls wearing skirts and dresses, and others are like, wow, that does look nice. I do like that look. Hey, I want to do that. Like, we're setting an example. We just never know that how God's working. So don't compare and say, if it's good for them, it's good for me. Not necessarily, whatever God has for you. And I hope you can see my heart on that. And yeah, that's what I want for my family. And we just want to honor God and live our lives for him, and appear to be a people that's, there's a godly way to, we want to look um like we're following after God and living lives that are pleasing and honoring him in everything we do. So just wanted to share that we're to follow God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to love God with all our soul and mind, and not to be following traditions and things of the world, not be following after other people, but following God and what he has for us, and what he says is a pleasing, and especially for women, for the way we dress, and all of that all comes together. So yeah, you probably heard, there's little things about follow your dreams, follow your heart. No, we're to follow God. We're not to follow our dreams, we're to follow God. But if he is our dream, if he is the one we're dreaming after, if he's the one that we're wanting to live our life for, then we're on the right path. We're to follow God with all our heart and to love him, and um yeah, follow God as dear children. So I hope this has been an encouragement to you. Yeah, I really hope it is, as you shepherd your home, as you guide your flock, your children, to honor and to serve the Lord, as you bring them up to want to serve God and to realize Yeah, that we're here for God and God alone. We're here to bring him to know him and to make him known. Here to bring him glory. That's what we're here for, to bring him glory. And we're just passing through this life. This world is not our home. Just a short time here on earth, and we'll be forever with him in glory. So what's really important? Are we gonna sacrifice, to our time forever up there, with chasing after the things of the world? Let that not be so. May that not be us. Let it be him that we're chasing after with all our hearts, will, our soul. Okay, I think that's it. I have something else, but I think that's it. Yeah, fall off to God, and I hope to catch you and you're more. You come back for more, and remember that I do speaking too. So not only on these YouTube, sorry, and I'm a guest on podcasts as well. But I also do speaking in person. So you may see me speaking somewhere or invite me. That would be good because I am looking for places to speak and to share on a variety of things, on hope, encouragement, on mothering, on these things where I'm trying women to a closer walk with God and to that intimacy. Um, okay, take care. God bless.